So my video today is going to be going through some artwork that I have created over the past couple years of my life. I'm also going to be chewing some gum while I show you. I do think that I may break this video into two parts because there are quite a few pieces that I have. So I'll just get started. So starting really simple and fun, I like to work on the neutral toned multimedia style papers, and this painting of a bird I did, believe, last year, kind of in the middle of the pandemic. I really like painting birds because they're a lot easier than humans, and there's a lot of ways to mimic the likeness of a bird and have it still look right, whereas with a human face there are a lot of ways to get it wrong, if that makes sense. And so I just love painting birds. You can make them look funny, surprised, all sorts of different things. So that's why I like doing that, and I really like this one. This is the next piece of art I want to show, and I will preface this by saying that I love to paint. I think I'm pretty good at it. When I practice, I get better. But this piece is definitely outside of my comfort zone because I have avoided painting bodies for a very long time because I have not been trained in anatomy and it doesn't come naturally to me. I can do faces, but when it comes to the human body, I have a lot of work to do still. So this was acrylic, and this was essentially just trying to like map out spots on the body that stood out to me. So this is definitely not like a product that I would be like, oh, I'm gonna sell this. This is just practice, but I ended up liking it, and when you stare at it from afar, it does look kind of pretty. So, as you can see, this is an eye in acrylic that I did. I believe this one was last year. I don't remember why I felt like I needed to add blood coming out of the eye, but it works. I love painting eyes. I feel like everyone, every artist that likes to paint humans goes through an eye phase because personally I feel like they're one of the easiest pieces of the anatomy of the face to get right. Now, if I had to draw two eyes, that might be different. But I really like this one because of the color of the eye. Blue eyes are really beautiful. I want to paint some brown eyes next, so that might be my next task. But, when painting eyes, I feel like, in my opinion, the hardest part for me to grasp and understand was the actual shape of the eyeball and understanding that it's coming out like this as opposed to it just being flat in all parts of anatomy. That was probably the turning point for me was when I started to view things as three-dimensional shapes instead of just flat. So this is another painting that I did. I did this painting during a kind of rough spot I had last year, and as you can see, the girl looks a little bit distressed, to say the least. I imagined this painting as, and I'm covering this up because it has my name on it, I would imagine this girl to be drowning. It feels like she's lost all hope and that she's just barely keeping her face out of the water. There's nothing really much else to say aside from that. Like I said, when I'm feeling my worst, sometimes that's when I have the most inspiration. And this was born from that, and I really like this one. I'm not, obviously, like, it goes without saying, I'm not a professional artist or anything, but I really like how this one turned out. So I realized last year that I avoided painting subjects or objects that had harsh lines and perhaps, for example, gems, diamonds, things like that. I realized I was avoiding it on purpose because I felt like I couldn't do it. And I felt really inspired by, I play World of Warcraft, and as a kid, I loved looking at the spell icons or object icons, when you'd see like gems in your bag and it would look like this. I really wanted to try and mimic how that looked, and so over the span of a couple days, I tried to draw like emeralds, as you see here. I gave that a try and painted some other gems here, and it's very messy work. It was just sketching, a rough painting, but I really like how this one looks. It just reminds me of, this is so specific, but if you've ever seen the movie The Secret of NIMH, there were a lot of scenes where there were really deep ruby tones, like when she's holding that pendant. This reminds me of that. It has the same vibe to me, and that's why I like it so much. But this was definitely just like a little mini study that I did, but I really like how they turned out. So next up, I have this painting here, and I did this painting last summer. This was off of a reference photo. I don't have it anymore, but I found it on the internet, and you can see it's just black and white. The purpose of this practice painting was to prove to myself that I could actually properly nail human anatomy in the right proportions, and I feel like I did a pretty good job. Obviously there's not a lot of detail going on, but this painting, you know when it's sitting on my easel, when I blur my eyes, I can see the scene, and that's how I know I nailed the placement of everything. It's a bit abstract. It's like I said, it's not detailed, but when you blur your eyes, you can fill in the blanks of the details. So this one was really fun to do. It's really hard to go from always trying to do hyper realistic drawings in terms of the details to realizing that sometimes it's more important to just get the right color and the right placement. It can be blobs of paint, but when you look at the big picture, it creates a beautiful scene. So this is the last painting that I'm going to show in this video. This one was actually done with oil paint, I believe. Yeah, this is oil. And I had a really hard time doing this one because, as I mentioned in the last one, I was focusing more on getting the right color in the right spot as opposed to being super detailed in any specific area. Sadly, when I finished this painting, I put my paints down for a while. I actually haven't done an actual portrait practice in probably coming up on a year now, sadly, because I've just gotten busy with work and everything, but I really put a lot of time into this, and after I completed this painting, I just had a lot more respect for, and not that I didn't respect portrait artists before, I just had a lot more respect for the work that goes into that. It took a lot of time, but I can see what I was trying to achieve. I can see it in the face, so yes. So these are just some of the paintings that I showed today. If you enjoyed the video, I'm probably going to do a part 2 because I do have some other paintings. But I hope that you're doing well wherever you are in the world.